Bubble. I'm safe and gentle, and I make getting clean almost as much fun as getting dirty. Have a tub of fun with Mr. Bubble. He makes getting clean almost as much fun as getting dirty. Mr. Bubble.
What makes you think I'm a spy?
Two-way radio? Micro tape recorder?
What makes you think I'm a spy?
On what?
Chocolate. Minstrels. Not like ordinary chocolate. Crisp sugar shell on the outside and surprise, surprise, smooth milk chocolate on the inside.
Chocolate? Mm-hmm. You do surprise me.
Minstrels. One of life's more pleasant surprises. Candy crisp, chocolate smooth.
Have you ever wished for one product that would clean and shine almost everything in your house? Here it is, Clean and Shine. Like magic, Clean and Shine leaves a nice shine on fine wood furniture, so you don't need furniture polish. It cleans and shines mirrors, so you don't need glass cleaner for mirrors. It cleans and shines refrigerators, like this kitchen product, even countertops, tile, and vinyl. Try new Clean and Shine, the foam that cleans and shines almost everything in your house.
What's up? Dino's stolen the different vitamins we need to make Flintstones. Yabba-dabba-doo, yabba-dabba-doo. Flintstone vitamins are good to chew with vitamin A, vitamin B's, vitamin C, and vitamin D. Help your body work and grow right.
We put them all together to make Flintstones vitamins.
Mom, if your kids don't always eat right, one Flintstone each day ensures they're getting the vitamins they may need. Yabba-dabba-doo. Flintstones, regular and plus iron.
Crack open an icy cold Hams. Refreshing as the land of sky blue waters. Enjoy a cool, refreshing Hams.
When Lipton blows the whistle, you gotta have a cup of tea. Listen to the Lipton whistle. Brisk, brisk, brisk. Lipton tea.
Lipton flow-through tea bags, like 2 bags of flavor in one.
We should be working toward 21 plus campuses of roughly capacity of 600 plus students.
That's Dr. Joe Baresi with the Midland School Board talking about plans for construction. With enrollment expected to top 2,000 in the next 5 years, what will those plans entail? I'm Rob Quirk in the Channel 9 newsroom. Will new buildings be constructed? Will additions be made? And at what cost to you? Join Janet and me for Channel 9 News at 10 o'clock.
Bronco Chevrolet has discounted each and every Suburban in stock $2,000. Get great selections and $2,000 in savings from the heartbeat of West Texas.
Bronco Chevrolet.
When news happens in the Permian Basin, and you see it happen, call Newsline 9 at 561-9991.
Crunchy is a golden honeycomb of hundreds of tiny glucose bubbles, covered in creamy milk chocolate.
Bite into a golden crunchy. Bite into a golden crunchy.
Once there was an ant and a grasshopper. The ant worked day and night while his friend the grasshopper fiddled away his free time. Then when the ant left on his winter vacation, was the grasshopper left in the cold? 'Cause the grasshopper was on the payroll savings plan. And by now, all those U.S. savings bonds added up to a big surprise to the ant and a big winter vacation for the grasshopper. Moral, buy U.S. savings bonds and you don't need a rich ant.
It's happening all around the house, right about now.
I'd like a Triscuit.
I'd like a Triscuit. I'd like a Triscuit. I know my family, and when they'd like a snack, they'd like a Triscuit wafer.
Great with cheese.
Or with a dip. Neat with jam. Or just by themselves. They really are good. Triscuit wafers, they're made from 100% natural whole wheat. And that's good, too.
A Triscuit baked only by Nabisco.
From time to time through history, the greatest need has been for facts. Facts to know where to build new schools, new houses, hospitals, factories, roads. We need facts to help fight sickness and disease. And that is why, on April the 25th, we are asking you to fill in the 1971 census. An army of men and women with light blue satchels will deliver and collect them from every household in Britain, with no exceptions. The form is secret. There is nothing to fear from completing it. When its contents have been analyzed, it'll be locked away for 100 years under guard. And all these officials are pledged to secrecy. Identify them by the blue satchel. It's the big form with a big job to do. We need the facts from you.
Look what happens when you buy 3 boxes of Purina Cat Chow. You get 1 box free.
Purina Cat Chow, 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 chow.
Buy 3 bags of Purina Cat Chow and get a coupon good for 1 bag free.
Purina Cat Chow, 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 chow.
No matter what size you buy, you can mail in proofs of purchase and get a coupon good for 1 free.
Purina Cat Chow, 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 chow.
So, buy any 3 Purina Cat Chow now and get 1 free.
Chow, chow, chow.
Tuesday, a lucky shot makes Richie an instant hero.
Want to go up to Inspiration Point with me? I'll show you my fake.
Oh, Richie, you're such a jock.
Then...
Buns.
Hiya, Pinky. How you? It's the love story that shook the world.
I love her?
There's drama, action, and romance. Fonzie loves Pinky right after Happy Days.
Cookie's life, it's got the taste and the feeling you like. Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. Come on, girl, gotta share a Coke with you. Let the feeling show through. You wanna live a little bit more. That's what the taste of Coke is for. Cookie's life, everybody wants a little life. Coca-Cola, Cookie's life.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts, Mounds don't. Almond Joy's got real milk chocolate, coconut and munchy nuts too. Mounds got deep dark chocolate and chewy coconut. Ooh. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Peter Paul, Almond Joy's got nuts, Peter Paul, Mounds don't.
Because
sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
America's been waiting for a family show about a real family.
Maybe you're just old-fashioned. Yeah, maybe.
A show that reveals the joys and the sorrows.
You better all dig down and find your pennies because this family could be in deep financial trouble.
The triumphs and the defeats of real people.
Mary, would you lay off him? He's just trying to do his job.
The Bradfords are the family. 8 is Enough is the show. Right after Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley.
Creases look really sharp in the right places, but never on your eyes. That's why Revlon created Natural Wonder Crease-Proof Cream Shadow. Crease-Proof Shadow. It just won't creep into creases. It's wink-proof, fade-proof, even waterproof. Stays fresh, stays put in 21 beautiful colors. Natural Wonder Crease-Proof Shadow by Revlon. There you go.
When I was a kid, the closest you could get me to a fish was the aquarium. Now, thanks to McDonald's, I'm the expert. You see, most fish is not government inspected, but all McDonald's fish is U.S. government inspected grade A. And it's all prime white filet. No fish cakes, not ground up, not mixed with other fish. It's a filet of fish. The best-selling fish sandwich in America. Tell them your nickname, Henry. They call me Jaws.
Quality you can taste.
If you make this shot, you can have anything you want for dinner.
I'll have Kentucky Fried Chicken, Mom.
You got it, superstar.
kids love Kentucky Fried Chicken, just like other folks. And with all those delicious fixins', what a meal.
It's finger-licking good! Real goodness from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
How many bacon packages do you look at before you find one you like? Well, Oscar Mayer knows just what you're looking for. Bacon that cooks up like this, with nice, even slices, and the best balance of fat to lean. At Oscar Mayer, that's the way we select our bacon, too. Before you ever see it, you get consistently high-quality bacon every time, because we do what you do before you do it. Oscar Mayer, America's best-selling bacon. There's nothing quite like them on television. The Bradfords, not your typical family of 8 children.
I don't wear nightgowns anymore, Daddy.
They'll make you laugh 1 minute.
I forgot to kiss you goodnight.
And cry the next. Just like your own family. 8 is enough right after Happy Days in Laverne and Shirley.
This is Concours, a world-class luxury compact from Chevrolet, in Europe to show that an American car can challenge the highways of the world. Concours is an affordable car for people who appreciate the stylish elegance of fine touring cars, luxurious interiors, and dependable Chevrolet engineering. Concours, built for Americans at home anywhere. A world-class luxury compact from Chevrolet.
Use FinalNet for 5 good reasons. 1, FinalNet is not an aerosol. It's concentrated with a hold that really lasts. 2, it holds without stickiness. 3, it goes where you want it. 4, FinalNet has no aerosol propellants. 5, this much FinalNet goes as far as this much aerosol. Use non-aerosol FinalNet. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Ben Franklin, you discovered electricity.
No, something really shocking. Look, Carefree sugarless gum here, Trident here. Both cost the same, yet Carefree gives you 32% more gum by weight than Trident. And Carefree's taste, electrifying.
Ben, the electricity.
I'll think about it in Washington, A.C.
That's Washington, D.C.
Get more gum with Carefree.
Now in bubble gum, too. More gum.
Carefree sugarless gum.
Why are women so happy about new Tickle antiperspirant? Is it because Tickle is the first roll-on with a big, wide ball? Is it because Tickle has a new, quick-drying formula? Or is it because Tickle helps keep you dry all day? Make yourself happy. Staying drier is nicer with a little Tickle.
Gentlemen, these are the ingredients that make Campbell's old-fashioned vegetable soup so delicious. Carrots, potatoes, celery, onions, corn, peas, green beans, lima beans, cabbage, turnips, and macaroni. Now, who puts them in the soup?
We do, sir.
But who prepares the beef broth?
Only you, sir.
And why is that?
Because too many cooks.
Sit right down and get your Campbell's worth.
America's classic thrillers come to life. The Hardy Boys' Nancy Drew Mysteries. An adventure into suspense.
There's got to be a way out of here.
You used to go with her?
Forget that.
Oh, Professor, do ghosts leave footprints?
The adventures of America's favorite young detectives come to television.
Follow that ghost.
The Hardy Boys' Nancy Drew Mysteries.
Earthlings are divided into 2 species. Those who use giant tin smash with 16 servings, measuring scoop, and resealable lid. And others who carry heavy bags of potatoes home to make mash. Sir, how else can we tell the Earthlings apart? The ones that carry potatoes may have longer arms.
Or mash, get smash.
Nervous is meeting your boyfriend's family. All 16 of them.
Nervous is why there's new Soft and Dry.
Soft and Dry roll-on. Nothing keeps you drier when you're nervous.
Nervous is taking your driver's test.
for the 4th time.
Nervous is why there's new Soft and Dry.
Nothing keeps you drier, yet it never stings most girls, even after shaving.
My fellow classmates.
Nervous is why there's new Soft and Dry.
Hi, I'm Sandy Duncan, and like most everybody, I am a snack lover. In fact, right now, I love some Wheat Thins. Wheat Thins taste really good, and they're full of natural whole wheat. So they make a terrific snack right out of the box, or you could put something on top. Look, when you're having a snack, why not have something really good? Wheat Thins. They call them the light little cracker with the big wheat taste from Nabisco. Love them.
Introducing the Kodak Instant Camera with a twist. Meet the Crank.
Can you feel a brand new day?
Imagine instant pictures with color. Color by Kodak. Just crank, 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 and in minutes you get bright, colorful, instant pictures with a textured satin luxe finish. See your photo dealer and shake hands with the Crank. The Kodak Instant Camera with a twist.
Know how I save money? With unsweetened Kool-Aid and sugar, just like my mom did. I remember how she'd mix a big pitcher full. Kool-Aid was so good and so inexpensive. It's still as delicious as ever. Today, with my sugar, it's about 12 cents a quart. Has vitamin C, too. I like giving Kathy what my mom gave me.
Kool-Aid brand soft drink mix and your sugar. You loved it as a kid, you trust it as a mother.
Charlie and I were in the park. Then this man came up and said, would I like to see some puppies? And I said yes. And I was going to go, but Charlie stopped me. Charlie's reminded me, my mum says I shouldn't go off with people I don't know. Then the man went away. We went and told Mummy, and she said we'd been very good. I got an apple and Charlie got something he likes. He says never go anywhere with men or ladies you don't know.
There's one thing that Pete would just as soon eat every day of his life. He really goes for those noodles, so I give him the Campbell life.
Pete's idea of the perfect lunch is any lunch with Campbell's Chicken Noodle-O Soup. There's lots of chickeny flavor and little round noodles for him, but not a lot of work for me.
That's noodle okay.
Give me the Campbell life.
Class, you're my butter lovers, right?
Right.
Now, I know you folks love butter more than anything, except me.
Yeah.
So, Julie's got something special for your pancakes. Log Cabin buttered syrup. Why, it's got that good old-fashioned flavor with real butter, too. Rich, thick, and smooth, just the way you like. Take Julie's advice. Fix up your pancakes with Log Cabin's buttered syrup. Butter lovers truly love it.
When a fruit and cereal lover finishes that last piece of fruit, she's finished. That's why Post makes Raisin Bran with so many sweet, chewy raisins. She can get fruit in her first spoonful, her next spoonful, and her next. The way Post makes Raisin Bran, she can get fruit in every spoonful and never have to run out. No wonder Post Raisin Bran is the fruit and cereal lover's cereal.
My baloney has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R. Oh, I love to eat it every day, and if you ask me why, I'll say, 'cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A.
Oscar Mayer, the first name in Bologna.
How's that? I'm gonna make my hair look like my sister. VO5 shampoo.
5 special ingredients, 3 to clean, 2 for manageability.
You use my shampoo.
How'd you know?
Fabulous hair.
VO5 shampoo with 5 special ingredients.
It's so easy to own Tercel.
1988 Toyota Tercel EZ. Only $59.98. The price will take you right back to the 50s.
Who could ask for anything more? Toyota.
If we let them, most dogs would eat their way to a weight problem. But because extra pounds aren't good for dogs, Alpo introduces a food that is. New Alpo Light with real meat, 100% adult nutrition, and 25% less calories than our regular canned dog food. So with new Alpo Light, your dog won't gain any more, and he won't have to eat any less. New Alpo Light, the healthy way to satisfy a healthy appetite.
4 years ago, Scott Emerson was lying in this hospital suffering from a heart attack. Since then, his doctor prescribed a regimen of exercise, the right foods, and Bayer aspirin. Studies show aspirin helps reduce the risk of heart attacks. Ask your doctor how Bayer may help you. Not long ago, Scott Emerson had a heart attack. Today, he had a son. Bayer, the wonder drug that works wonders.
I have a friend who says, if only I had such nice blonde hair, you can. She says, if only I had hair with such life, you can, with Preference by L'Oreal. Preference color is translucent with subtle shadings, and you do want your hair to be healthy looking. Well, that's the Preference difference. So, Angela, don't tell me you can't. Just repeat after me. I'm worth it. Feel better?
Performing Preference from L'Oreal.
I found my thrill. Hyundai salutes the practical, sensible, non-frivolous youth of America. They've had the wisdom to purchase durable, reliable automobiles with front-wheel drive, room for 5, and loads of standard features. All this at prices that start as low as $53.95. Congratulations, young people, and happy driving. Hyundai, cars that make sense.
Good morning. Well, it's a great day if you're into traffic.
Introducing the all-new Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. Once you've driven it, everything else is just traffic.
See your nearby Silver Star Olds dealer today.
We're here at the National Space Satellite Dish, where for 3 days in a row, scientists have received messages from deep space. Dr. Gilbert.
At precisely 12 noon, we have received this signal.
And now, as the hour of 12 approaches, we listen for these strange sounds.
It's no mystery where great refreshment comes from. Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
In 1979, 27 men in Munich began a project that became a quest, that became a car. Spare nothing, they were told, but build the finest, most spirited luxury sedan in the world. That car has now arrived in America, and it's called the BMW 750iL.
My brother Dick bought a Magnavox camcorder. Gonna shoot TV movies, right, Dick?
Sure.
Big lights, the whole thing.
Don't need lights. With this, I could shoot by candlelight.
Yeah, but he's forgetting about outdoor action and all
Hey,
that.
it's got high shutter speed for clean, fast action.
Yeah, but what about all the other things? You got to be in...
Tom, this new camcorder by Magnavox has got everything. It's fully automatic, has instant playback, weighs just 3.5 pounds, and it's so simple that even my...
Yeah, I know. Even his brother can use it.
That's right, you got it. Look over here. Come on.
Cold pills travel all through your body before they relieve your stuffed nose. But Dristan nasal spray works faster. Plus, it has a special new ingredient to soothe and moisturize nasal passages. Dristan, relief right on the nose.
Seems like Chevy's been trying to pull the wool over your eyes in recent truck comparisons with Ford. Smart truck buyers know Ford has the strongest 6s, most powerful V8s, biggest payload, and they know value. They know Ford costs $914 less than Chevy. Plus, they can get $500 cash back. See your West Texas Ford dealer. He won't pull the wool over your eyes. He'll just give you the best value on the #1 selling trucks in Texas, Ford.
We know how you love shrimp.
A great deal of shrimp. Whoa, what a deal.
Even kids love shrimp.
Shrimp, 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 shrimp. Not to mention shrimp.
We know how you love shrimp.
The Red Lobster Shrimp Festival. Try the shrimp and crab leg feast, just $10.95 on Fridays and Saturdays only.
I've been writing a lot of stories about aspirin lately, but if you think you've heard all the news about aspirin, think again. Clinical tests now show there's an even better aspirin formula. It's Anacin. Listen, the tests show that compared to regular strength aspirin, Anacin provides a more effective level of pain relief, better relief. The latest good news about aspirin is Anacin.
Anacin, a better aspirin formula.
Good morning. Well, it's a great day if you're into traffic.
Introducing the all-new Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. Once you've driven it, everything else is just traffic.
As a scientist, my eyes have to be 100%. When they're red, burning, or irritated, I use Visine.
Visine gives 100% of what you need to relieve all these symptoms.
That's what I call 100% relief. What more could you ask for?
Raisin Nut Bran tastes better. Tastes better than Kellogg's, better than Post. It's got juicy nut-covered raisins and big, crisp flakes.
People have a better time around Raisin Nut Bran.
The best tasting Raisin Bran.
Listen to the sounds of competition. So clear, so close, you'd never guess we actually recorded them long distance on the digital fiber optic network of U.S. Sprint. To sample us on your own phone, call this fiber optic number now. U.S. Sprint, official long-distance sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team.
Charlie's dad is a dentist, so when Charlie gets some teeth, chances are he'll chew great-tasting Trident. Because more dentists and their families chew Trident than all other sugarless gums combined. Trident. Millions of teeth can't be wrong. On Career Day, this class found out that more dentists and their families chew great-tasting Trident than all other sugarless gums combined. Now, guess what they all want to be when they grow up? Trident. Millions of teeth can't be wrong.
Excuse me.
No problem. We know about Kaopectate, too.
Kaopectate actually absorbs the germs that can cause diarrhea.
Kaopectate bags. The diarrhea specialist.
With so much on my mind, I just never looked, so I didn't know Alpo caused the same as other dries. Now I know.
Alpo beef-flavored dinner. More meat protein than 10 pounds of steak at a really good price.
Don't worry. You'll always be my first baby.
I like to use the board a lot, and we draw a lot of pictures, and they make fun of my drawings. And they really are concerned and interested in what is going on and how the weather works and what effect it has on them and how all that stuff happens every day. I think maybe they come out of it with a little better understanding of how it does work. Oftentimes I'm afraid that the teachers are reluctant to call because they think we're too busy or we don't have the time, and when in fact we're eager to do it and eager to make time to go talk, particularly to kids.
You've suffered through all kinds of diets and regimens, but if you don't get enough protein when you're dieting to lose fat, you might lose muscle. protein can help you keep muscle while you lose fat. And Special K has
Check, testing 1, 2, fuck it. Well, good morning, everyone. How are we today? Joey, are you still there, man? What's going on, dude? Or did you go to sleep? If you went to sleep, that's cool. You need your sleep. Dude's working all the time. Yeah. Totally. It is Tuesday here, Television Tuesday, on the Crazy Old Weird Bearded Guy channel. It's 5 a.m. It's 5 a.m. It is the 10th of June, 2025. Just a few days away from Friday the 13th. And what's up? Friday the 13th is good luck this year because we have 2 video time machines. One of them is already ready already. I just booted it up this morning. It will be available Friday at 5, as will the special 2-hour episode of the Video Time Machine, which I haven't put together yet. Last night, the one that I put together was over an hour and a half, I believe. Pardon. And I wanted to do a separate one for last Friday's missed show so that I could do my Loretta Swit and Peter Yarrow farewell. So I did that. I neglected to put in a Betty Boop cartoon, so my apologies. I edited it and it was like an hour and a half, and I'm like, I saved it and then went, shit, oh crap, I forgot to put in that Betty Boop. Do I want to go back and do it? No. It's already long enough. I think I was just short of 90 minutes. And Betty Boop would have put me over 90 minutes. No problem. But I just didn't want to go back and do the re-edit to get it in there. So there you go. There you have it. There it is. It's Television Tuesday. Today we are going to discuss one of my favorite wartime TV shows, Baba Black Sheep, or Black Sheep Squadron, if you will. It was rebranded in the TV Guide and in syndication. Just like Emergency went to Emergency 1 and Emergency 51, and good old Black Sheep Squadron saw itself in the TV Guide as various things. Let's go ahead and pull out. So Black Sheep Squadron, I've got Season 1 and Season 2 they call the final season. So Season 1, excellent. The only trouble is they let Robert Conrad take the helm for the second season. And boy, did this show change. It really did. Robert Conrad and probably the producers decided to give the nurses a bigger role on the show, but in doing so, what they did was they created Pappy's like sheep pen squadron girls. I don't remember what they called them, but it was really, really sad to see the show change like that. They yanked a bunch of people off the show. They yanked off James Whitmore Jr. and that was unfortunate. I don't even see him in the first season photo. And I don't know how they used this, the first season photo. It's the same guys in both photos. And it's not like that. Red West came along and replaced the mechanic. So he's gone the second season. They kill him off in the first season, or at the end of the first season, the beginning of the second season. They turn it into just a farce. It's more about the camp and the girls and having fun and doing deals and stuff. And it should be about what it was in the first season, about the war, you know. And that's what made it a great show, is that you got to see a lot of dogfights and stuff. And the budget, they killed the budget in the second season, so you had a lot of repeat footage. You had a lot of close-up stuff where you just don't even see dogfights. So it was kind of a downer in the second season. It only lasted 13 episodes in the second season, as opposed to the first season with upwards of 20-some episodes, right? It's a bummer. I mean, it started off as prime time and went to like a summer show. It just petered out. Robert Conrad, who had done The Wild Wild West before this, years before this, in the 60s, in fact, he was a hard man to find a role for. He was a hard man to work with, because he was a man's man, right? And when he worked, he didn't like to pull punches. So if you were in a scene with him where you were fighting, he was going to hit you. He didn't expect you to hit him because he was the star. But if you were going to take a punch from his character, he was going to haul off and he was going to hit you. Because that's acting, right? And you're an actor. So act like you took a punch. Well, I did take a punch because you fucking hit me. And then people would try to hit him and he'd get pissed off and they'd have a fucking fight. I imagine that some of the people that left the show, Black Sheep Squadron, left the show because they just didn't get along with him. He was a dick. He was a dick because he was just a tough guy, and he had to constantly prove he was a tough guy. He was probably closet, like most Hollywood men, right? They're in the closet. They can't come out because they've got that image, right? You gotta have that image going on. You gotta be a tough guy. You can't change that image. So therefore, they just stay in the closet and they get pissed off about it, you know. Well, you know, things are different. Like Rock Hudson, he stayed in the closet. He was a man's man. He was the guy. He was the shit. And he had to stay in the closet. And he finally came out at the end because he was dying of AIDS, right? You know, staying in the closet leading to secrecy, having to hide who you are, you know, that only leads to further bummers. You know, it's nice nowadays that more and more people are just deciding, you know what, fuck it, I'm me, I'm gonna be me. Fuck you if you don't like me. You know, and then they just go about their lives and they don't constantly worry about being found out, right? And I think maybe that was he was a man. He was a very masculine man, but like other very masculine men, like Chuck Connors, the rifleman, right? They were more of a man's man than we care to admit. It's just the way it was, you know. Hollywood produced a lot of closet homosexuals and closet lesbians because they could not come out for fear of losing their celebrity status. You know, in a lot of countries, homosexuality was illegal through most of the last century, you know. And in this country, you couldn't do it. You'd be found out and you'd be ostracized, blackballed, you'd be screwed. It's like 100 or 70 years ago in Hollywood, coming out that you smoked marijuana, blackballed. You know, I'm a communist, blackballed. I'm gay, blackballed. There you go. You're done. It took Robert Mitchum a decade to come back to full lead status after he was busted for marijuana. He was busted for marijuana. The guy got busted for pot and was blackballed in Hollywood as a dope fiend because of movies like Reefer Madness and cocaine and that kind of shit. It was propaganda, you know. And it took him years to come back. I think his big comeback movie was a movie he had to do himself called Thunder Road, and that put him back on the map. And then he never got to full celebrity status where he was like lead guy material, 100%, could hold his own in multiple leads, multiple movies. It never happened again. He did a lot of stuff after that, but it was different. It was different had he been able to continue his acting career without that blackball break. You know, it sucks when other people come along, like the government, and tell you how they think that you should live, right? I've never been a fan of being told what to do. You tell me what to do and I'm not going to do it. You tell me to do this, I'm going to do the opposite. You know, that's just me. That's just the way I am. That's the way. I don't know that it's the way that I was raised, but it's the way that I've always been. You know, don't fucking tell me to do something. Just don't. And especially don't tell me that you have decided that it's in my best interest that I should do what you tell me to do. No. You throw out the facts and say, hey, this is what's going on. Choose wisely. That's what you fucking do. And, you know, pointing at somebody and then pointing in a direction, no, I don't do that. They just don't. Poor idiots that do. We got a whole world full of idiots that will just do what they're told. Put your head down and go to work. Yes, sir. And they don't want to think, because thinking brings reprisal, you know. It's sad. It's sad. And then those that do think haven't been educated enough to think properly. Like all of the crap that's going on in Los Angeles right now. This is June 10th, 2025. So there's a shitload of crap going on in Los Angeles with ICE raids and that kind of crap, right? And that's just horrible, because while the people who are there trying to stop what's happening have good intentions, because they are mostly uneducated followers, they're mucking it up. All right? You don't protest by burning shit. You don't protest by breaking shit. You don't protest by hurting people. And you don't protest by going to the police, who are just like you, regular citizens who have been hired to do a job. Now, these other fuckers from the government, that's a different story, all right? But we should not act the way they want us to act. They want us to act like criminals so that they can further impose more law. There's going to be so much fucking laws written to deal with this bullshit. We are going to lose so many rights. And you know what? We've already lost enough rights over the last 25 years, right? Why? Because we have allowed it. We just allow them to walk all over us, take our rights away. And once we gave up a certain amount of rights 25 years ago, when the shit hit the fan, right? When they threw the shit at the fan, intentionally, in order to take our rights away, you know? And there's no getting around it. We screwed ourselves over, and they know it, and they control the ball now. Period. We don't control shit anymore. They control everything. We think we have rights. We think there's a constitution. We think there's a Bill of Rights. We think there's all of this, but there's not anymore. It's been rewritten. It's not the same anymore. It's horrible, but it's true. It's horrible, but it's true. So there's no going back, right? There's no going back. But at the same time, moving forward, is violence the answer? Right? Putting on a mask so they can't see your face, and then torching buildings and cars, right? These are probably the same people that walk into Versace or whatever in Beverly Hills and walk out with a bunch of stuff. And they can do that because policy is don't stop them. Insurance will handle it. The cops will deal with it. Just stand back and let them walk out with merchandise, right? So therefore they do, because they know they can get away with it. If they know they've got gloves on and mask on and they're wearing throwaway clothes, yeah, they can do that. So why can't they raise hell in the city during a protest? And a lot of these people, I'm going to assume that a lot of these violent protesters are crisis actors or bad actors, people hired to go in there and run amok to make the situation look so bad that they've got to bring in more force and more, and that's what's been happening. It's just been escalating and escalating and escalating. I haven't been watching the news in the last day or two, so I don't know exactly where it's at right now, but the people involved on both sides, you know better. Come on, you know better than this, right? If you work for the government, you know better. Come on, use your head. You're working for bad people. If you're out there in the streets doing violent things, protesting, come on, you know better than that. Did your mother fucking teach you better than that, you fucking idiot? Don't do that shit. You respect people, you respect their property, you respect authority. Even if you don't agree with it, you respect it, right? Because if you don't respect it, it ain't going to respect you. It goes both ways, okay? And to just pick up rocks and bottles and sticks and stones and start lobbing it. It only takes a fool to do that, right? Violence begins where logic fails. If you can't use your fucking head, take a walk, all right? Go away. We don't need violent people. It's just no help. You're not helping, period. And I think the violent people who are there know that, and I think that's why they're there. So, yeah, okay, the album of the day, I forgot. The album of the day it's 2 for Tuesday, and I feel like comedy, so we're going to do some Saturday Night Live. We got Saturday Night Live here on 8-track and LP. This is a record that my father brought home from Tower Records back in the late 70s, early 80s. Along with this, he brought home a script book. It was a booklet that was full 8.5 by 11, and it was all paper bound, and it was about 3/4 of an inch thick, and it was all of the scripts for all of the skits on this LP, right? Gerald Ford opening with the Don Pardo, Howard Shore and his all-star nurse band, the monologue with Lily Tomlin, Speed, all of these skits were in the book. In their original script form, they were mimeographed or Xerox copies of the original scripts, and it had all of the notations and the corrections from the writers and the staff and the comedians. And you could see John Belushi's handwriting, Jane Curtin, everybody was in there in this book, and it was great. And so we had that album and we had that script book. I don't know where that script book went, and I had to replace the album because it did not come to me with all of my father's stuff. And it's unusual that all of my father's stuff came to me when I'm me, right? So there you go. I'm going to do this bong hit because it's been staring at me for about 20 minutes now. So if you get a chance, watch Black Sheep Squadron. It's streaming somewhere. Find it. Ba Ba Black Sheep. Ba Ba Black Sheep, Black Sheep Squadron. And then it goes on to TV as Black Sheep Squadron. Yes, it is a great, fantastic show. Great dogfights, aerial stuff. The Corsair planes that they use. They really have a lot of those. They use this field in Southern California, so they're always on the coast. It's great. It looks like a little airport in a dirt area, in some hills, right? So you can't kind of see around it. And they plant a couple of palm trees where the cameras keep going by. So there's no palm trees anywhere there except for in the little camp that they have set up. And then at the airstrip, which I think is I think the camp is built right on an airstrip so that they can land planes and have planes pulling up, and then they can get out of the planes and walk right over their tents, right? So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool how they've got this whole area set up. There's also another base that they go to, the base at Villa La Cava, the island, where the main body of troops are stationed. I like the fact that it's like the Dirty Dozen, so the Black Sheep Squadron, where they go to prison and they pull out soldiers who have done bad things, and they take those soldiers, say, we'll give you a pardon if you go and do this horrible mission that's probably going to get you killed anyway, right? Well, kind of the same thing. It's like he goes to the brig and he pulls out all of these really, really good pilots that, like him, happened to have a problem with authority. So, right there, boom, the madness ensues. The guy, he's got his own plane, he's got his own dog that he takes with him wherever he goes. Meatball, the dog, a big, giant, bull-faced terrier, the one with the head down to the nose like that. Just a funny dog. And it was all, most of the stuff about Pappy Boyington is true in this show. Here's a funny side story. In the early 90s, I'm going to say 90, 91, we went to March Air Force Base. My father, my friend Andrew, and myself for the air show there. They have a regular annual air show at March. And they've got an air museum there too, so they've got a whole bunch of really, really righteous looking aircraft from different... Hey, peace, brother. Have a good night. Have a good sleep, and I will talk at you later. So there's this great museum there, kind of like the one in Palm Springs, but this one is actually at a military base. So to go to the air show, you have to get onto the military base. And so we're there, and we're watching this stuff, and it turns out that Pappy Boyington is there, right? He's an old guy. He's in his like 80s or 90s or something. He's just an old dude. And he's written another book called Tonya, right? And it's about the Pacific Theater and fighting and the Japanese people and that kind of stuff. So, to my recollection. And so my father's like, wow, let's go meet Pappy Boyington. And I'm like, well, fucking A, why not? So he goes and he gets in line and he buys a book and he gets in line and he meets Pappy Boyington, right? And gets his signature and introduces me and my friend, and I got to shake hands with Pappy Boyington, the real Black Sheep Squadron guy, right? And so that was like twice in my life where I shook the hand of a very, very great man, right? Pappy Boyington. Before that, it was 1975 when I shook hands with Buzz Aldrin, the astronaut, as a kid, right? And wow, that's heavy stuff. 15 years later, I'm shaking hands with Pappy Boyington, right? That's righteous, cool stuff, man. So that's my Black Sheep Pappy Boyington stuff. My father and I used to watch the show a lot. I had friends that loved the show. Their parents loved the show. What's great about it is it was fun and exciting enough that you could watch it with your kids. You were old and you were in the war and you were, you're an old fart now. And you get to sit and watch a really cool show that you like with your kid, and your kid likes it too, and your kid's in his teens, right? So that's cool stuff. You can't make that shit up. You can't trade it for anything in the world. I'm gonna heat up my coffee, and then we'll keep moving right along. Moving along. Totally Television Tuesday there, eh? So, I'm back. You're all gone, but I'm still here. I'm back. So last night I did some Minecrafting, running around in circles, picking up potatoes and shearing sheep. I actually did put up some sales stuff, so I'm going to work on that and figure out if it's what I want. I I think I might need to put some life into those sails, because right now they're looking kind of flat. They're just... And I realize that I'm sitting in harbor right now, so the sails shouldn't even be up, right? But at the same time, I want to make it look alive, right? So I think I'm going to billow the sails just a little bit. Come out, and then up, and then in. And then, right before I went on, we were in the next town over. My daughter found a, treadmill. So my daughter finds a treadmill for a good price, and it's a Nordic track. And she found two. She found one for... They were each for $100, right? And one of them was this off-brand that you could buy at Amazon or Walmart and have it delivered, and it was only like $300 max, right? And they wanted $100 for it, and it was, I think it was new in the box. The Nordic Track one, while it had been used, it had Bluetooth, so it was new enough to have Bluetooth, right? But it was a $1,600 model, and the guy wanted $100 for it. And it was, one of those things where they put it on, and they put it on for, like $600 or something, and then just keep bringing it down, until somebody finally buys it. So we finally bought it. We went over there in the van, hoping to put it in the, fold it up and then tilt it into the back of the van, and it just would not fit because my van is a conversion, and it's got a big bed in the back and seats and stuff, and there's just not enough room to squeeze it in without taking a bunch of furniture out. So we decided to leave it, and my wife went by later with the neighbor and picked it up. And then they sat outside here and talked for like hours last night, at the same time trying to figure out how to get it into the backyard. And eventually, and I stayed in here because I didn't want any part of it. I had tried to get it into my van, and that was enough for my poor spine. So when they were out there dealing with it, I just said, all right, I'm just going to stay back, let my wife and the neighbor kind of muscle it around and figure it out, and she'll, compensate them or take care of them however. So I just stayed out of it. And my daughter comes in and says, yeah, they can't get it in. And I said, okay, well, they need to just move it over and then park the car in front of it. And I said, or they need to, if it comes down and it's got legs that come out, then they need to try to get one leg in first and then wiggle it through and then bring that other leg in and just kind of turn it as they're bringing it through the gate, right? And lo and behold, that's after another hour of out there just talking, just blah, 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 because that's what my wife loves to do with the neighbors. They finally wiggled it in there and got it in the yard, so I never even went out. I was done with it. That's cool. It's cool. It's totally cool. So now my job is to figure out how to get it into the corner of the yard over there under the tree between the metal wall fence stuff that's about 6 feet high, and get it in there so that it's in the shade. It has electricity. It can be folded up out of the way up against the wall, the fence, and be covered, or brought out and used. Gonna put a little mist thing above it, and a fan, so that while there'll be water coming down, the fan will be blowing the water away, so it should never reach the actual, because that wouldn't be good. I'm sure she's going to have shoes on while doing this, and those floors have a really good grip on them. So it being outside in 100-degree weather, it's going to have some mist. The mist will probably go about 2 feet and then evaporate. But it'll be in the shade, and this way my daughter has a good place to go. I said, okay, well look, we're going to put it where there's a shelf, And if you want to go out there and work out and watch TV, I have a little tiny television, and it's you know, one of those Walmart 28-inch widescreen TVs with the smart stuff in it. And I said, look, you can take this out there, you can set it up, you can stream from the house because it's right here, or you can cast stuff from your phone to it, whatever you want to do. Or you can just use your Bluetooth to the speakers on the thing. So that's great. My daughter really needs that because of her school stuff. She doesn't get time to just get up and go. And if she does, it might be the middle of the night before she, 3 in the morning, midnight or something, when she has an opportunity to get up and think, well, I need to go run and work out and get tired so I can go to sleep. So I'm going to assume that once it's set up out there with the backyard lighting and the mood that we can set in the backyard there, I'm sure she'll have no trouble going out. She also wants to get one of those Nordic track ski things. It's got the poles that you do this, right? And your feet are doing this. It's like a cross-country ski thing. I think she wants one of those too. And whatever kind of little exercise devices we can get in our backyard here. It's a little tiny backyard, but if we can turn it into a little makeshift gym, right? Then let's do that. Let's make a little gym back there. And I'll pick up a little set of dumbbells, so she's got a little variety set of different weights. Walking on that thing, and you just keep those arms turning with weights when you're walking, man. And you get a good posture going, you get a good pace going, and you keep those arms moving with your legs moving. Put some weights on your ankles, and that's it. That's all you need. That's it. To be healthy, that's all you need. To get some cardio and work out the muscles that you use regularly. That's it. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need to go to a gym. You don't need to go pump iron for 3 hours every day. You don't need to be all this unless that's what you want to do, right? If you just want to be healthy, just get out and work for an hour a day. That's it. Just get up, move. I used to do that with work. I used to just get up, and then it was like, okay, what am I going to do during the day that's going to give me my cardio for the hour? What am I going to do during the day that's going to give me this? And then when I'm doing that, you're just conscious of what you're doing when you're doing it, so that you can give yourself that proper resistance, so that when you're working, all your muscles are working, right? That's it. That's all. And if you have a job where you just sit, well, you're pretty much fucked. Then you gotta do stuff. You gotta get up. You gotta pace. You gotta get up and walk around, stretch. At lunchtime, if you got a job where you sit all day, at lunchtime you go for a walk, right? You do a walking lunch. You grab something that you can eat on the go, and you just start walking. And you walk for an hour. You walk around until you're back at work, and then you sit down again at work, right? Been there, done that. I remember when I was doing a factory job where I spent a lot of time in an office writing, creating, planning, and then would go back and then go into the warehouse and then would sit back there and would create and do things. And it was like at lunchtime, sometimes I just wanted to scarf something down real quick, like 5 or 10 minutes, and then spend the rest of the hour walking up and down the block, or just walking around the parking lot, doing something. I remember about that time when we were first married, we actually bought a really nice, like $900 treadmill. And we had it for a long time, and we just never got the use out of it, like most people, and it just turned into like a clothes rack. But as my life would change back and forth, I would dig it out and use it. And I'm really hoping that my daughter gets some good use out of this one. if she does get into these machine exercise things, then I think we're going to be looking at getting her something like a Peloton, where she can get engaged with it, right? I'm sure that really soon the Peloton thing, right, where you're interacting with people, whether they're live or recorded or AI, right? I think it's going to go to more AI, and I think the whole AI and virtual gym thing is going to turn into a video game where you are fitted with things that know exactly where you're at. You have a camera that is reading your every position, right? And then you have goggles on that immerses you in a world where you are forced to react, so that the computer is telling you what muscles to work out by what actions the game is forcing you to produce in your body, right? Did I explain that well enough? Because I think that's where we're going. I think we're going to where everything is going to be in the virtual AI world, because more and more they want people to be kind of asleep at the wheel, where they're doing stuff, they're working, but they're doing it in such a way that it doesn't feel like work. It feels more like fun. It feels more like a game, right? Like in the B movie, Jerry Seinfeld movie, B movie. They're driving to work in their little B car, and they go on all this roller coaster loop stuff, and they say, God, this is really fun, that they integrated the amusement park into everyday life, so we don't need a vacation. Right? And that's it. That's it right there. They integrate entertainment right now into your everyday life. Your every waking moment, you are entertained in some fashion. Whether it's just sitting there looking through videos, scrolling through garbage, right? You're still entertained. You're still distracted, right? So you're not really at work. You're sitting there doing this, and the factory is rolling by in front of you, and all you have to do, you don't react to what's happening on the conveyor belt anymore. There's a computer that does that. All you have to do is react when the computer tells you to now. So you can be on your phone. The computer dings and you go, that one's out of there. The computer dings and you look, that one's out of there, right? You flip that one over. That's all it is now. If you're in a factory, that's what you do. I know people who have worked in those factories. And they say, I'm out there working and all these dumb son of a bitches are sitting there on their phone, right? Just reacting occasionally to what's going on in front of them. Most of the time they're swiping, man. They're just swiping their lives away. And that's where they get you. That's where they have us now, is entertainment is squeezed into our everyday life, every second, every minute of the day. So we don't need to worry about a vacation so much, or going out. It's all part of life now. All the entertainment, the distractions, it's all part of production, right? And that's the slave master boss mentality. Keep them busy, keep them distracted, keep them well fed and well paid, but keep them busy, keep them producing, right? More and more we're finding that they can just remove the people from the situation and replace the people with machines and robots and AIs and that kind of shit to do the job, and just have a few people around being told what to do by these computers, basically. It used to be the other way around, and now they don't need us as much. And if they don't need us as much to produce stuff for us, well then eventually they're not going to need us at all, because they're just going to need to produce stuff for themselves, because essentially that's what they need us for. In order to produce stuff for them, they need a shitload of us out producing stuff for each other as well, right? Slave life. Keep a lot of shit going around. And not only that, you know, because of the new modern slavery, we, the boss used to take care of us, but now we take care of ourselves. So they give us these slave jobs and these slave wages, and then give us all of these desires and wants and needs, right, that have to be fulfilled with money. So we got to work more and harder. There you go. They get you every time. Every single time they get you. No matter what you do, no matter how you look at it, they're going to get you. They're going to get you. Bong hit. I'm going to look for that SNL book. If I could replace that, that would be cool. Right? Like the Cheech and Chong In My Room. It's an album with some songs on it and stuff, and then there's a video that goes with it. A videotape came together, and I happened to find both of those separately, but I found both of them. Boom, put the set together. Part of my Cheech and Chong collection, stuff that I didn't even know existed back then, right? When you're homeless, and you're kind of disconnected from the world, you're not always able to watch TV, you're not always able to listen to the radio and keep up on what's going on out in the world. Sometimes I missed complete, you know, tours, concert tours. I missed complete TV series, movies, events, things going on in my own town. I missed because I was out of it, right? Pain, poverty, illness, depression. These are the things that have been in my life since I can remember. And they're very distracting. So much so that I can't even be distracted by the things that are supposed to distract us. Right? And maybe that's why I'm so undistracted by what's happening around the world right now and my whole life, is because my own frickin' stupid pain and misery kind of rules. So I don't get to pay attention, and therefore I don't get over-programmed. We lost Sly Stone from Sly and the Family Stone, the dude, the man. And Al Foster, a very famous drummer. So two musicians, boom, boom. It was just Peter Yarrow just last week of Peter, Paul, and Mary. Bummer stuff, man. But that's it. We're humans. We're only designed to last a certain amount of time. We're designed to forget and move on, right? That's programmed into us. It's genetically written into us. A lot of shit. But one of the things genetically written into our DNA is to forget and move on. Forget and move on. Accept, forget, and move on, right? And that's, for those people who can do that, that's great. A lot of us, there's a big bunch of us. That's probably a small percentage who can't do that well. We can't just accept it, forget it, and move on with a lot of stuff. And it builds and it builds and it builds. And then we pop, right? And a lot of us are probably short lifers, right? Where we're not going to last long because we can't. We just can't deal with the slavery, the lies, the bullshit, you know. What a world. What a fucking world. I just keep thinking back to this thing going on in LA and how many people are getting hurt and how much property, and people are getting arrested, right? And when you start dealing with that kind of shit, you start dealing with federal law, and that's a whole different animal. You could deal with state law and local law and that kind of shit and deal with it and be able to get out of trouble, but when you start dealing with federal law, you're just fucked in the ass, right? And then all I have to do is categorize you one way or another, and you could be fucked for life. They could lock you up permanently and throw away the key without ever having to tell you why, because they've pushed you into that category of human, right? That's part of having taken away our rights, right, is the fact that they can do that now. All they have to do is make a claim. They don't have to prove it. They just have to make a claim, and then they can just push you away somewhere and you're never heard from again, right? Yep, they screwed up, they did this, and now we feel that they are always going to be a problem now, and they just lock you up and you're gone. You are gone, you know. The GB, that place, you know, you may think that they send you there, but the place they send you to, it don't even exist on the papers, right? Just some little hole somewhere, and they put you in, and you're done. You got no rights. You got no rights. That's what people don't understand, is you have no rights at all. I got all kinds of rights. The right there to no, you don't. If somebody can come along and make a claim, and don't have to prove it, that you are this, your rights are null and void. That's it. That's not what the founding fathers wrote. That's not how this is supposed to play out. But now there is an entity within our organization who can come along and decide your fate. And they don't have to explain at all to anyone what they're doing. And you're going to fuck with them, right? If you're going to fuck with them, you better do it the right way. And trying to stop them from doing their job, federal employees, you got to be dumb as a bag of fucking stupid to go up against that, right? Come on, people. You know better. They know better, and they're fucking up. But they've got the power. You know, you should know better. You know, like I said, your mama taught you better, and if she didn't, well, then she should be slapped. And you should be put over a knee and whooped. Oh. But that's what they want. The powers that be, that's what they want, because if you look at the education system, if you look at what is happening in schools, they're not producing rocket scientists. They're producing consumers. You know, either McDonald's employees or barefoot and pregnant with, you know, 6 kids and a welfare check. Whatever. They're not producing quality American citizens out of public schools. They're just not. Follow these kids on a 24-hour period from the time they get up in the morning and convince their parents that they're good people to where they go to school and bully the girl next to them, and then after school are humping with the neighbor kid and doing crack fucking cocaine, and then they come home and say, yeah, my homework's all done, Mom. Right? And that happens every fucking day in one fashion or another. And it gets produced in these fucking public schools. If you don't take control of your child's life. If the kid comes home and you go, did your homework? Well, get in there and do it. And then that's the most of what you say to your kid, right? Hey, Mom, the Wi-Fi's off. Get your father to fix it. I mean, these are the conversations that go on in households nowadays, right? It's horrible. My daughter went to public school, public college, public university, right? All of the regular stuff. But because we had an influence on her through her entire life, she didn't turn out like a fucking idiot, you know? I'm sure that she went to school with people who are now fucking idiots, you know, because their parents had nothing to do with it. That's the school's job. I pay the bills. I put a roof over your head. That's the school's job to make you a good person. And there are actually people who do this. And when you're 18, get the fuck out. Oh, you want to go to school? You fucking pay for it. I ain't paying for it. You get a fucking job if you want a car. You know, like, oh my God, I'm going to try to do as much for my daughter as I can while I'm here. Why? Because we only got one kid. We didn't go fucking crazy and have, you know, 3 kids, 6 kids, 8 fucking kids, you know. We wanted to give one kid the very fucking best. 2 would have been nice. That was the plan. Didn't work out that way, you know. So, yeah. We did perfectly fine with our 6 kids. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you never had any time to spend with them, unless your husband's really rich. Got a really good job. Mom can just stay home and be mom. That doesn't happen. Mom's going to go out and bust her ass. Dad's going to go out and bust his ass. The kids have to go to those after-school programs, and they're at school from 6 in the morning till 6 at night, till mom and dad get home from work, from their 10-hour work day and their 2-hour commute, right? It's just fucked. It's a slave fucking life. It's a slave mentality. Because the only way you can make it is to have both parents working. And then as soon as that fucking kid is old enough, boy, you better get a fucking job and get out there and get some shit going on, man. If you want this, you gotta get a job and pay for it. And then you never see the kid. You never see it. Nobody ever says, hi mom, bye mom. Hi dad, bye dad. That's America. That's the nuclear family. Nuclear. Fuck it. It's a fucked up thing is what it is. It's really fucked up. What are you going to do? Nothing. You can't do anything. That's the way it is. Every time you try to do something, they fuck up the economy. They throw something else at you. They burn down your fucking neighborhood. They. All these fucking fires starting at the same fucking time in different places, right? Just all of a sudden simultaneously. Oh, look at that. You know, a fire's just in the right areas to burn this whole area down and nothing else. Right? Let me think about that. Fires that just happen to start in a tree, you know, 10 miles from the fire that just barely started over there, from that one that just barely... Come on, as the cinders are traveling through the... They just fucking started at the same fucking time. Don't give me that shit. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. They don't want you there, they burn you out. They keep burning you out until you leave. They burn enough of you out and then come through and buy the rest. Yep. Oh man. They got you fucking bamboozled. Right? And they got you just... They make it so hard to do anything but just put your head down and go to work. Just put your head down and go to work. Right? Pay your bills. If you try to think outside the box and try to make it better, you got like 1 in 10 chances that it's going to happen. Otherwise, you're going to go bankrupt, you're going to fail, you're going to lose your family, you're going to lose your house, you're going to lose everything. So don't gamble on a better life. Just take what you got, take your job, take your boss's bullshit, and just keep going and keep going and keep paying those bills. Put your head down, keep paying your bills. Put your head down, keep paying your bills. Right? You look up one day, your kids are all grown up and gone. You never had a chance to go fishing with them. You never had a chance to watch a football game, right? Your wife is now divorced because she never had a chance to get to know you. She got to know the neighbor guy much better, and she likes him better anyway. So once the kids are gone, she can just say, honey, goodbye, you know? And then she makes you sell the house to give her half. So now you're stuck in the RV that you bought to go vacationing with the family that you never get to see anymore. That's the American dream right there. Right there. I knew that if I had gone a certain way in my life, I would be right there right now. Or I'd be used up and dead. I always figured I'd be dead by 35, but that's if I was that other guy, right? And I never took that road. And I'm glad I didn't, because it would have killed me. It would have fucking killed me. I would have had 3 kids. I would have had a great life for a few years, and then I'd be divorced, and I'd be bankrupt, and I'd be fucked over, and just like everybody else. You know, there's very few of us actually made it and spent 20, 30, 40 years with the same person, right? I've been with my wife almost 26 years. About 26 years we started dating, right? Over 26 years ago we started dating. So that's something that I can hold on to. I was talking to my wife the other day, and I said after everything we went through early on in our relationship and losing our first daughter, I told her I could never see myself with anybody else but her after that. We had already, in a couple of years, we had already gone through so much together that I couldn't see myself with anybody but her ever again. You know, and that made it easy for me to stay committed to one person, because I didn't want anybody else after that, right? It was like, no, we earned a place together, and I'm not going to fuck that up for anything in the world. And I was talking to her, and I just had to say that, you know. And it's just, damn if it isn't the truest thing in my life, you know. But I wouldn't change a minute with her. It was hard as hell a lot of times. We lived in poverty and were cold and wet, you know, but never hungry and never alone, never with dirty clothes, you know. But you know, I still wouldn't change any of it. If I could go back and change anything, I would have gone back and changed myself at an early age, so that by the time I did find her, I could have done things differently and had us struggle less. But I think the struggles are what made our togetherness work. So I don't know. I know that I got to get some more duvage out here. And then, wow, it is 6 a.m. already. That's a great hour. I love that last hour. That was a great hour. Fun. This is what my show is about. Just me sitting here going blah, blah, blah. And I love it when I can stay on topic and remember what it is that I'm fucking talking about. Well, stop smoking dope. No, because then I'm just in pain. You know. Besides, I like to smoke dope. That's why they legalized it for people like me who like to smoke fucking dope. You know, I've been smoking it so long, it's probably going to kill me. But, you know, I'm going to die, at least I'm going to die whole. I'll die a happy person. You know. It's inevitable at this point, and there's no turning back, so I'm just going with it. I'm just going with it, baby. And trying to accomplish as much as I can here in my little studio. I told my family I might have one more move left in me, depending on when we decide to, if we decide to move somewhere. But I don't know. I mean, it would have to be a joint effort, really. So I don't know. I just know that we've been in the desert here since my daughter was in the 1st grade, and now she's got one more year of university and she has a bachelor's degree, and I really don't want to spend too much more time out here in the desert. It was great so that she could have a place to call home and a hometown and say, I'm from here. I'm not from here, like me. I call Lake Elsinore my home, but I only spent 10 years of my life there. 15 maybe. Most of it was bouncing around the area in different places. And I, in different schools, and I didn't want that for my daughter. But now that is pretty much wrapping up, whatever time I got left, it would be nice if we were in a more hospitable environment, something in the mountains, something on the beach, near a lake, a river, something. Something nice, right? That would be great. I don't play the lottery, so I don't expect that I'm just going to all of a sudden, somebody's going to hand me a check for $5 million or something. So there you go. But if I did have $5 million or $1 million or whatever, it would be, well, first of all, it'd be a dream come true. It'd be weird, but I would probably just invest it all in a piece of property and dwellings for the piece of property, and do a just do a little community of tiny homes and small houses and stuff, and then populate it with like-minded individuals, family and friends, who struggle like everybody else with existing on this planet with the rules and regulations imposed on us by our overlords, right? A place where you can grow some food, raise some animals, have a family, and not have to worry about the man coming in and claiming this or that and fucking you over. You know, everybody gets together every year and we pay property tax, and we decide what to do with the reservoir of funds that we've collected, so that we can improve our lives, right? And just do it like that. So what would I do with a chunk of money? I would live for a few years before I move on, shuffle. And I would try to leave behind a kind of a better way of making shit happen. You know? Try to affect some kind of change positively, you know, create a community of people who are going to then help to create more and more and more of that type of situation. You know, you can take over a town with that kind of thing. You can take over a small town where, okay, people are now living together, working together because of together, not because of me, right? And that's important, right? And every day we try to take a step back and look at the big picture and not go me, and go us and them kind of thing, right? It's us, but yeah, it's them too, right? So whether you're helping your neighbor, a stranger, family, friends, whatever, it's not just a me world. So if you can every day make a conscious effort to think about somebody else, it's only going to make a better world. And if you're in a place, in a neighborhood, in a little community where that is number one, that's first, that's key, that's the goal, is to just take care of each other, that's just going to proliferate more and more and more kindness, right? So I got to get more coffee. This next hour is going to kind of chew me up. For sure, I'll be right back. You can hear me, so go ahead and talk. I'm listening. I felt like Frasier there for a second. I'm listening. I think I could. I guess if it was, winning a lottery or something, I think I would buy up small pieces of property and run down communities, mobile home parks, that kind of thing. Get them and then fix them up and turn them into tiny home communities, but only offer them to people who are struggling but on the rise, moving forward, right? People who have struggled in the past and are now seeking a better life, and they're actively working on it, right? I think that would probably be the best way to help people. And what's really cool about mobile home parks, trailer parks, creating a small tiny home community, using a like say a 5 or 10 acre piece of property with a home on it already, and then putting stuff around it, is that you can use that existing home as a community. 3-bedroom house. Now you've got one room as a library, one room as a classroom, and one room as an entertainment room. You got a gym in the garage. You've got a couple of bathrooms now. You maybe extend the bathrooms out and turn them into multiple person bathrooms, so that you can have shower stalls and bathroom stalls and that kind of thing going on. So you can have people can have their own facilities in their little dwelling, but at the same time they can have house guests because they've got an extra room in their tiny home out back in another tiny home, right? They've got they don't have to do their laundry at home. They can just come to the laundromat gym showers thing built in the garage, in the bathrooms and stuff, and we just kind of change things to fit a community setting, a community kitchen, take a big giant covered porch and enclose it and turn it into an eating hall where we've got a bunch of tables, one long table, whatever, where we can all get together and break bread and share stories and plan what to do next, right? I mean, I know I'm a dreamer, but isn't this the way the world is supposed to work, right? If we all had communities like that, right? If this town was a group of smaller communities within, right? And each one beholding to each other and to itself, as well as to the larger community as well. And then this one community, this town now, is now part of the city and is now a part of this. That's the way it's supposed to work. And we're so disconnected and we're so me oriented that it doesn't even come into play anymore, thinking about the person next to you. They're walking down the street thumbing it, trying to get to the store to get their kid diapers and milk, and you just drive right by because you're on your fucking phone. It's like, oh, I don't got time, right? You should have known about that already the night before, that your neighbor needed diapers and milk, and you'd have picked it up on the way home, so they never had to worry about it and struggle and go without the night before. They live right fucking next door to you. How can you be so disconnected that you let that happen, right? Right? That's what America has become? A disconnected, discombobulated, disrupted, and distracted society? It sickens me. It sickens me. What do you do? What do you do to take care of my community? Fuck you. If I see my neighbor walking, I'm going to pull up and say, hey, want to ride? I know that my neighbor right here, he is an invalid, and he's not able to get out, right? He has stuff delivered to him. At the end of the month he struggles. We make sure to send food to him, right? We take care of our own. My wife, she knows every neighbor around here by name, right? I don't, but I make sure if they need something, I use my emissary, my wife, who is social, to help take care of those people. What can we do to help them, dear? Is my first response when she says somebody's going through this. My response is usually, what can we do to help them, dear? And then I do what I can on my end, and then if I need to go out and present myself to somebody to help them, I will. Usually I will hang back and just help them, because a lot of times when you're a guy, you don't want some other guy coming along and helping you. My wife, she's easy to help people, right? Everybody takes help from my wife because she's so easygoing and she forces it on you, and you can't say no because she's a sweetheart. Guys don't want to take shit from guys a lot of time. I will make food and say, here honey, take this to the neighbor, right? I could go take it there. It's better coming from her, right? So I just try to be as political as possible about it, but at the same time, I'm not going to let somebody go hungry, right? Somebody on the other end of town says, here, we're moving, we got a bunch of food. We know, I know, everybody knows that we can't eat all of that food. We can't take in all of this stuff and use it. But I know that the 20 residents in here, in this little tiny mobile home park community that we live in, somebody's going to need it. My wife goes to a food giveaway at a church or something. She knows that we're not going to use it all, but somebody will, and we make sure that somebody gets it. Will you use this? If I sure, then take it, right? It doesn't take much to have that community feeling, that sense of camaraderie, right? My phone is glitchy, but I don't think it has much to do with my live feed. I think it's just my phone has a bad signal. So let me know if it's glitchy, if somebody's watching and it's like, you keep freezing up, man. I've dropped a few frames, but nothing significant. 0.7% somewhere recently, but that's it. And we're moving past that. We're moving past that rapidly. I got hot coffee here. I gotta check it out. I just topped it off and sweetened it up, so that'll work. Not too sweet, not too hot. Gotta be sweet. It's got to be hot. So there you go. There you go. I'm starting to get comfortable talking without my teeth, which is a bummer because I need to put them in and get used to talking with them, and then eventually maybe doing an evening show. This is my morning. This is me. I mean, I'm not going to put them in to drink coffee and smoke out of the bong. That would be ridiculous. Yeah, let's put my teeth in and get them real dirty. So I just don't care in the mornings, right? I'm just waking up anyway. If I'm going to leave the house, go do something, yeah, I'll think about putting them in. What do I care? I'm old. I'm broken. And so is the world. The world is old and broken, and it needs to get young and unbroken. And by that, we need to turn it over to some young people who have good ideas, right? And we're starting to get that. My daughter, she's a young person with good ideas. We need to tap more people like that, and ask them, what do we do, right? How do we go about changing the world? How do we fix things? We don't want to ask those people that are in LA burning cars and throwing rocks and shit. They got the wrong answer. We need to tap intelligent young people, right? And the country is hard to produce intelligent young people right now. We're producing very few worthy young humans, right? We're making a whole bunch of assholes is what we're doing. A bunch of entitled shitheels who can just walk into places and, fuck you, I'm going to do whatever I want. You can't do nothing about it because I'm recording you. You Karen, you boomer, you Karen. It's like, okay. Yeah, you try to confront somebody on their stupidity, and they get violent. They just turn into an asshole. What are you going to fucking do about it, huh? Come on, motherfucker. It's like they're all pumped up on energy drinks and stupidity. And steroids. And steroids are in everything now, so yeah, everybody's on them. Everybody's on steroids. Why? Because it's in all the fucking meat you eat, morons. Yes, sir. There you go. I am the underdog. That's me. What are you going to do? I just want the world to be a better place, that's all. That's all. If that would happen, I wouldn't be here. I'd be out in the world doing shit. But I go out there and I'm just like, oh gosh, get me home. Please get me home. Please, please, please. I didn't see that. I didn't see them. I have to ignore so much when I go out, and I shouldn't have to. We should all be able to talk to each other and say, oh man, you know, there's a better way. Did you no, I'm not going to go there. It doesn't take religion to make a better person. It just takes intelligence. It just takes a heart. It just takes caring. Right? Religion is great. Most people don't know what to do with it. You know, just like money. Most people don't know what to do with it. Because we're not taught that. No, most people don't know what to do with politics. Most people don't know what to do with their ass. Because if we did, the world would be a better place. And they don't want a better... They don't want a better place. They don't make money if it's a better place. Right? They don't have the power if the world's a better place. If we all like each other, how are they going to get us to fight each other and to argue and to bicker and to divide lines? It was just the Pope praying to God to take down the borders and to bring people together and to keep us from being separate. I mean, come on, the Pope. He knows what's up. Nobody's going to listen to him because he's the Pope. Everyone should listen to him. Catholics and non-Catholics alike, right? Come on. If we listen to the good people of this planet, right, and actually act on these things, the world could only get better. We don't need a better place. We can't make money off that. We don't need cures. We need treatments. We can't make money off of cures. Right? You ain't getting my fucking money. I'd rather die than to give you fucking money for a shit-ass fucking treatment that's gonna fucking either kill me or make me want to fucking die. Right? Some people, it works. Very few. You know? And if it doesn't actually work, it works up here. Right? And like I've said before, I just can't look past the bullshit enough to believe anymore. There's just so much bullshit anymore. There's no faith left, right? I can't believe, you know. Third star to the right. No, I don't believe, you know. I believe that the world is fucked and humans are fucked. That's what I believe. If I had the power to change the world would be fucking beautiful, right? If I had a wish, it would be not for world peace, but for world intelligence. That will get us the right way, you know? Intelligent thought. Intelligent, caring, courteous thought. I mean, there's got to be a way to get there, right? Riots, that's not a way. Wars, that's not a way. Weapons, weapons, weapons. Hating your neighbor. Borders. Raping your citizens just so that they can exist, right? Creating a homeless society because people just are so over playing that fucking game, right? If it weren't for my wife and my daughter, I would so be homeless right now. I would have died years ago because I'm just so over playing the game. The game that you struggle, and the game of life where you struggle, and yet you still have to struggle more. And there's a whole percentage of that just seem to luck into a better life, you know. And then if you take a deep long look at that. They're both working all the time. The kids raise themselves. You struggle. There's marriage stuff going on. You hate your job, but you got to keep it up because of all of the bills. It's never a pretty picture, right? Yet they make it work. And they take those vacations, and they pay themselves back with, you know, a motorcycle or a fancy car, but they're still making payments on these things. So they're beholden to this job even more, you know. And if they're real lucky, they've set aside enough to keep paying on these things once they've retired, or they got to get a fucking side job at McDonald's. I'm retired. Well, yeah, but you work, you know, 20 hours a week at McDonald's. Well, there you go. It's because I want to, right? Yeah, it's because your bills want you to. Because you didn't plan for fucking inflation. You didn't plan for your government fucking you over and taking Social Security. You didn't plan, you know. You just assumed that this is what my parents did, and this is going to be all right for me, you know. And then it happens, and you go, oh, fuck, this ain't the 1960s. I'm not going to get a $20,000 home, you know, and a $500 car, and drive it forever and live in this house until it's not the same way, you know. You're going to spend $500,000 on a home. It's going to be mortgaged for 35 years. You're going to have to get a new car every couple of years because you can't afford to actually buy it outright. Because if you did, then you'd have to make payments on the fucking mechanic bullshit when that fucking happens, right? And there's just so many things where you just, all right, well, here's our expenses every month, and here's what we got coming in every month. And we're going to be able to eke out just a tiny bit of a... No, we can't take our vacation this year. We got to take the money. And, you know, fuck that. There goes that fishing trip again. That motorhome just sits there. You're paying on it, but it just sits there. You use it once, twice, and 3 times in 10 years. Come on. The kids are grown up and gone. You know, your tackle box is dried up. Dropping frames again. Morning show freezing up, glitching. I'm telling you. It's just a hell of a life, you know. It's, you want this and you want that, and you want this marriage and you want this life and you want your kids and you want this, and it's all about compromise. It's like, all right, I can have these things, but all I can do is have them. That's it. You can't enjoy them. You can't get to know your kids. Your kids don't know you, you know. They're going to get to know stepdad better because stepdad's going to be around more because he lucked into a better job and's got more money and never got married. And now he's going to settle down and get a family, and he's just going to take yours. Right? Because yours is already ready already. And he's known your wife for years, so they're the best of friends. But your wife don't know you. You don't know your wife. You don't know your kids. You know the people at work. You hang out with them and drink after work. You come home. You argue with the wife about bills. She spent too much. You're not making enough. It's just the American dream. That's what it is. And if I lucked out of anything, I lucked out of that American dream, right? I you know, pain, poverty, illness, depression, suffering, you know, the life of Job here. But at the same time, you know, I don't have to work as much. We don't spend like crazy. We don't mortgage. We don't have car payments. We don't do all of these things that would cause us to have that horrible existence that I know would cause me to fail. We tried it, failed, almost cost our marriage, our existence, everything. And we decided, keep it simple. Keep it simple. You know, if we can't afford to buy it cash, save for it, or you don't need it, right? If you can't pay for it within a year on payments, then don't even go there. But don't try to extend yourself further than you can reach, right? Because you're just fucked if you do. If any stupid little thing comes along that you cannot foresee, you're fucked. There goes everything that you put yourself into. It's gone now because you you made the wrong move. You pissed somebody off at work, and they turned around, and it happened to be the boss's nephew, and now you're fired. It don't matter how long you were there. It don't matter how many times they said, we're family, and how well they treated you in the past. You said the wrong thing to the wrong person, and it was just offhand. You didn't mean it. Stupid little thing, but you're fired now. Family's gone. That family's gone. So that family's gone. So now it totally disrupts this family. Now this family's gone. Has this happened to me? No, I've seen it. You know, by the time I was in my 20s, I had already seen a lot of friends have kids, get married and have kids, have big relationships, and then have it all just, it snowballs. It gets really big and then it just crumbles, gets out of control, and it's gone. For one reason or another. Now everything is fucked. Everything is different. Kids are gone, wife's gone, house is gone, everything's gone, gone. You know. And that's the American dream. That's what they do to you. They make you think that you have to have all of this here, right? And when you can't keep it all together, they take it all away from you. And then, because you're programmed to need all of that, then what? Then you fall apart. Alcohol, drugs, gambling, womanizing, whatever. It's going to lead to something bad. Because you have to be distracted. You have to be distracted from your life. You know, if you're not distracted, then you actually have to deal with it. You know. So we keep distracting ourselves. And they keep distracting us. They don't want us to think about stuff. They want us to just, once again, put your head down, go to work, pay your bills. So many of us are programmed that way and can deal with it like that. And I just cannot. So many people are so good at just taking that job, working that job for 20, 30, 40 years, busting their ass every day, every week, going to the gym, going to the bar, seeing their family for a few minutes a day, and then doing it again. And then on the weekend they hang out, they barbecue, they do this, they do that. He asks about the kids tell him about the week. The wife says she's screwing the neighbor. Ha 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 ha. And then what happens? It all blows up, all falls apart. I'm sorry for these people. But we're aren't we programmed to want that? To want that American life? That's so, sometimes it's so easy to get there, but so hard to hold on to, right? You meet that perfect girl, you get married right out of high school or right out of college, you move in together, you get married, you have kids, you know, father-in-law gets you a job, yada, 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 you're going on 20 years, everything's 30 years, everything's, you know, everything's paid for, the kids are gone, it's time to retire, and it just all just whew, goes away. Because you were never really there. You were there in name, but you were never really there. You were just the guy making it all happen from the side, but you never were really involved in it 100%. When you spend so much time away from somebody, you don't really have a life with them. I have a life with my wife and daughter because we make it possible in our lives to spend time together. We make it so that having money and things is not as important as having time together, right? I would rather live in squalor and spend all of my days with my wife and daughter struggling together because we are together, right? We do not live in squalor, right? But we don't over-plan our lives so that we have to then overbook our lives for work, right? you know, we need more money, we need more money, we need more money, so therefore we have to work more, work more, work more. And the more you work, the less you're together, so the more you need to be distracted from that, so therefore the more money you need. And it just goes further and further and further. The more you reach for stuff that you don't really need, the more you struggle to attain those things and to achieve that life that you're programmed to want. You see it on TV and on the movies and everything, you know, in magazines, in other people. I want that life. And then you struggle to get there and find out that it's not really all it's cracked up to be. You find out that they're struggling just as hard. The only thing is that they don't know each other. They're living in a house full of strangers. You're struggling, but you spend so much time with your family that it doesn't feel like a struggle. I'll tell you what, my wife and I, we laugh together way more than anyone I've ever known, especially those who have everything, right? And I'm talking like the 3-bedroom house, the 2-car garage, the 3 cars, the perfect kids, the college, the everything, you know. Because I know in my heart of hearts that they don't spend nowhere near as much time together as a family as we do, right? I know my family because we're together all the time. My wife and I work together. We don't work a lot, but we work together. My wife, she goes off and works with friends, and I go do things occasionally by myself. But we're always there for each other and with each other. You know? There's always somebody here with my daughter when she's home. Almost always. You know? If we leave, it's her choice to stay behind. I just figured early on, before we ever got married, 10 years before I met my wife, I did not want to marry someone who was going to be so easy to divorce, to just leave, to just out of my life. Because I didn't want that. I didn't want somebody else raising my kids. Right? Just like when I married my wife, I didn't want the babysitter raising our kids. So we decided Mom would just stay home until daughter was grown up enough to get into school, and then she would find some kind of work that would keep her busy just during the time that our daughter was in school. And I would just be the breadwinner, you know, and we decided that that was the best thing to do. And then as our daughter grew and was able to spend more time with herself and take care of herself, getting ready for school and doing homework and that kind of stuff, Mom was less and less in that picture and could then take over more and more the role of breadwinner. So now she's probably the strongest in that department, which is fine by me. But over the last 10 or 15 years, I've switched it around so that she's now the responsible one. She is the financial guru in the family. Because I'm not, and I admit that. I'm not good with money, you know. And that's great. She knows it. I know it. My daughter knows it. And that's okay. It's easy to admit those things if you're able to just be comfortable with yourself, you know. If you know yourself, don't lie to yourself and try to convince other people that you're different. Just because you know yourself so well, I can't show anybody this side of me, right? Jesus, come clean. It's easier to change if you come clean, right? So I'm never going to be a financial wizard, but I'm more thrifty and frugal now. I don't, you know, I'll say, no, honey, you got to come along with me because I don't want to spend too much. And I'll say that a lot. You know, no, you better come with me so that you can make the decision on whether or not to make the purchase, right? and I'll get my daughter and wife into the decision on, all right, look, this is what's going on, and this is my thoughts on it. Now you guys deal with it. And then I'll step back, and then they'll come to me, and then we'll work it out. But I have to be an advisor. I can't be the actual guy to make decisions anymore. Even when it comes to myself. I mean, I don't even want to make decisions when it comes to myself anymore. Because I can't be responsible for taking care of things the right way, you know. Like when it comes to my health, I should not be responsible for taking care of my own health. Somebody else should look at me and go, maybe you should go see a doctor, right? Because I just don't. I'm so used to pain and misery. You know, what do I care? So there you go. About 20 minutes left in the show. I've had fun this morning. If you get a chance, watch the Black Sheep Squadron. It's great. I am going to go ahead and see if, before I leave today, I can put up the, the album of the day. And, Sly Stone. And then there's this thing over here. 10 brave musicians who played on while quietly dying. Is it me? I will go quietly into the night. Because essentially, I'm one of billions. And one of billions who have perished on this planet, right? What's really neat is to look up facts. How many people are on the planet now? How many people were on the planet 100 years ago? Look at that number, and then how it grew, and where it grew, right? And look at the numbers. How many people have ever lived on this planet going back to known history? It's ridiculous to think that, right? I think if we go back, we find the genetic mother, right, which is not Mary or the Virgin Mary or somebody like that, but it's actually, it goes back to a specific DNA that we've found in history, right, that we all kind of share. So that's what makes us related. And then if you go back in history to another point, we find the paternal DNA, right? But they're through different times in history that has happened. So this has happened, and then this merged together, and then that has kind of broadened out into all of humanity, kind of thing. I don't believe in an evolution crap, man. The Earth's been here for 4,000 years. I don't believe that if we look back as far as we can look, that we're even close, that we even scratch the surface, right? I think that things have changed and been lost and changed and been lost so many times that as far back as we can go, we're only going back a small percentage of the way. So if we're looking at that DNA, that mother and that father, right, where did they come from in history before that? Because, you know, that's kind of what I'm thinking. They say that, you know, scientists, with the whole evolution thing and the different forms of hominids or bipedal creatures that became humans, that I don't believe that it just goes back as far as they believe that it goes back. I think it goes back much further. And whether those and those creatures that then became us eventually, right, as they say, aren't really us and weren't really us, so to speak, that they were just offshoots, mutants, perhaps, of the previous version of us on the planet for thousands of years. And then if we go back before that, if we were able to look back into history before that, I think we would see another set of humanoids that begot this, that begot that, that begot this, that begot that, right? So that if it may go back much further and have taken many, many different shapes as far as technology and society, right? That we could have had many, many lost worlds and lost Atlantises and many lost advanced civilizations and technologies and stuff, right? Or we could just be all the descendants of a bunch of cavemen who grunted and farted and ate each other's faces, you know? Psh, who knows? But I think that it goes back a lot further than what we're led to believe through science and the Smithsonian and what history we're allowed to see. Most history is locked away in vaults. Big giant money people who only want the world to be seen a certain way go around the world and gobble up all of this history and hide it away so that the history that we're shown fits the facts of what they want us to know, period. End of story. And if we are ever given the key to those mysteries and are given enough of the pieces to the overall puzzle, because all we get to see is little puzzles and little pieces and missing pieces and stuff, so we never get a full picture. I think if we had all of the pieces that they've collected and put them together, it would show a huge picture that would point to much more than we could ever imagine, right? And my goodness, wouldn't that be something, you know, to figure it all out? But they keep all of these pieces scattered in different places, hidden away, separate from each other. They keep different people coming and going, taking care of stuff that they know nothing about what they're taking care of. They have no idea that all of these crates and boxes contain so much history that it's just, you know, yeah, I'm just checking in, just going to go look at some boxes, and yep, boxes are still there, you know. And they're scientists, and they're just hired as security guards because, you know, they get their, as a security guard, they're scientists. They're going to be allowed to inspect a couple of things, but those are hand-chosen, cherry-picked things that don't point to any real solution to any of the puzzles that life has given us. You know, what are you going to do? Sit and scratch your fucking head. And that's what humanity does. It scratches its head because there's, you know, the tippy top up there at the very, very top that is just dribbling it out just enough to keep us curious, just enough to keep control, you know, keeping it all hidden away so that we don't really know what's going on. You know, all of the secrets, all of the books that were written 100 years ago, 500 years ago, all of the texts, all of these things that point to actual truths and realisms, and they're just blocked away. And they just laugh at us. And they don't even realize what they're sitting on. They know that if we had the real picture, that they would lose their power. And that's, pardon me while I itch, that's all that matters to them, right? Is keeping the control, right? They don't realize that if we had all of the pieces to the puzzle, we could be totally so beyond that way of thinking. But they would lose power, they would lose money, they would lose clout, prestige, being up at the top, right? So we're kept in the closet, blind. You know, going to public schools and buying shit on credit so that we can be slaves for the rest of our fucking lives. If you have credit, pay it off and never use it again. That happened to me in the late 90s. I got credit, I blew it up, it got out of control, I paid it off and walked away from it. Never got a credit card again. It's been 25 years since I've had a credit card. Why? Because I'm not going to play that fucking slave game. I bought a car. I bought one car, one brand new car, made payments on it, made payments for about 5 years, and then paid the fucking thing off. Just said, okay, how much do I owe? How much to get out of this? And I paid it off and walked away from it. Never did a payment again like that. And that right there decided me, you know what? We're never going to do that 35-year mortgage crap, because that locks us in to that life of having to pay and pay and pay and pay. You get a mortgage for this much and you pay this much for how many years? Give me a fucking break. Give me a break. Over and over and over. And then you miss a couple of payments, the bank owns your house and you're fucked. You know, you shouldn't have pissed off the boss. You should have been home watching your wife. You know, idiots. I'm sorry if this is your life, you know, but that's what you were programmed to want. And that's what you get when you get what you want. The American dream. Yeah, I'm really harping on this today, but I watch these TV shows and these movies and stuff that just they make it seem so perfect, you know. And the ones that make it seem perfect until it's not, the ones that are really close to reality, that's even worse. Oh man. So let's see. We're just about time to wrap it up here. What are we doing the rest of the week? What are we doing the rest of the week? Well, tomorrow is Old Time Radio Wednesday. And we are going to do Captain Midnight. We're going to talk about the Old Time Radio show Captain Midnight. I believe it started as a 10 or 15 minute serial. And then eventually I think it did go to a half an hour show. We'll take a look at the album. I am going to try to get a turntable up here at some point today for tomorrow, and put a turntable on my desk and listen to the LP that way. Okay, so that's on my list of things to do. Hopefully I can do that. Otherwise I've got a show that we can listen to on my graphics computer. I was sitting here wasting time and did not get the Saturday night, NBC's Saturday Night Live. So let me try to type that in there. Okay, 1975. I believe that was it. Hello, love. And this is 1976. So Saturday Night Live, not ready for primetime players. Full album, 1976. On vinyl. side 2. Okay. Well, here's somebody by the name of Weathered Memories who has got this here on side. They've got side 1 here, so I'm just going to put on side 1, and then you can go there, and it'll probably be in the queue after that finishes. Let me go ahead and go to my show and post it in the comments, and then my job will be done. There you go. All right, and paste. Okay, NBC's Saturday Night Live, not ready for prime time players. $19.76 full album side 1. There. Did I totally? Oh, wasn't paying attention. That sucks. Let me do that again. Oh, yeah. NBC's side 1. Okay, there's that. Whew, I got that out of the way. Jeez, minutes before it's time to go. So, anywho. Yeah. Yeah. So, let me do this last bong in here. We're running low on June TV guides, so I'm not going to worry too much about TV guide this week. I'll read a little bit tomorrow. I know it's Television Tuesday. I should be reading it anyway. Thursday we're going to do Guitar Day, Arts and Crafts, and Friday we're going to do Playing with Matches. We're kind of keeping it light and open and just kind of playing it by ear. So I didn't plan too much, figuring I was going to want to, well, just fool around. So there you go. I will be back tomorrow morning, as usual, at 5 a.m. And we'll do some more of this. You can hear me rant and rave about what a wonderful world this could be if only we gave a shit and got our heads off of our fucking phones. Get your heads out of your phones, people. Stick them back in your asses. They were safer there. Totally, man. So, yeah, stop by and see me again, because if you don't, you're gonna miss everything. You're just gonna miss it all, man. It's just all gonna go whoosh, and then it's gone, man. Alright, well, this has been Totally Television Tuesday here on Mornings with Crazy Old Weird Bearded Guy. I'm glad you stopped by to say, what the fuck is this shit all about? Because that's what I do every day, right? And, you know, it could be worse. I just go with, this is better than dead, right? There you go. There you are. Alright, people. As usual, I want to let you all know to just take care of each other. Be kind. Spread peace and love, not bullshit. do something for yourself, but at the same time, do something for somebody else. Why? Because it's nice and it makes you feel good. It makes the other person feel good. Makes the world a better place, right? So do that. Gosh darn it! If everybody did that, what a world this would be. I'd die a happy man. Most especially out there, stay weird, because if you ain't weird, ain't nobody gonna be weird for you, people. You gotta put in the effort, right? Take care of your friends and family and people around you, unconditionally. Nowadays, that's weird, right? Alright, guys. Take it easy. Love ya. Adios.